Hi everyone and welcome to Tuesdays at 2 o'clock with Marcie Besker. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I am excited to be here with you today and show you a super fun card. So, how is everybody today? So, just found out, well not just found out, but I think I have a little allergy reaction going on with cottonwood. We just moved to our house in November and we have cottonwood around us, and it seems like I may, because I've just been sneezing, so hopefully I don't sneeze, but just to give you a heads up, I guess I've never had allergies and all of a sudden I may have them, so we'll see. I am excited to be here with you. We're going to wait just a bit. Hi Tashana, how are you? We have a super fun card today. We are going to create a card like this that does this and also opens up. So I'll show you a little better, a little closer, and let's switch the camera, adjust my lights a little bit. My cat is probably going to be meowing out there because my husband had to go into the office today, and so she's wondering why is she not included. All right, so I'm gonna just move my light. I'm kind of adjusting my light and my cameras just a little bit, but I don't know how I'm liking them quite yet. Hi, Steph. Yeah, okay, so I did this one first, and I did these trees, which is with the pines. And then I did this guy because I said, okay, well, what if we just have this set for people? And so I did this one, and I switched out the snow. I used this snow on this card, which has little circles. They're like little tiny, oh, I can never get a good picture up here. Little tiny O's is kind of what it looks like. But then I took the snow out of in the pines, and I just really like that snow better. So I think we're going to use that one. And I did use a little bit of the waterfront, and I'll show you what I did with that, but there's alternatives that you can do differently. So we're going to set these aside. So here it is in person, a little better. So we're going to pull up our little tag, so our little moose is walking along. And so it says, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Enjoy the stillness of the season. And then I open it up, and it says, Merry Christmas. So he's traveling along, and then he's leaving. So I thought that was a really cute card. I know my granddaughter loves motion cards, fancy cards, folding cards, any kind of thing. And then I did a couple different little envelopes with his little moose tracks. So we'll do that. And this one, a little different. Have a cozy Christmas. Enjoy the stillness of the season. Merry Christmas. And then I just left this open to write in. So we're going to get busy and show you how to do these. I kind of like the look of these trees from the pine. These are the ones from the moose, but I kind of think these are just fun. So I think I'm going to use those again today with the snow from that set also. So let's just put these up here. You can see the different kind. And we'll get busy. I have all my little pieces. Now when I do post this on my blog, I am going to have this PDF. There's going to be some directions and then also this for the PDF. So I will have this available for you. Hi Jana. So that will be on my blog. You'll get to see that. But here it is again. I just kind of drew it out. Got a picture taken. I did this a long time ago. Let me move my little scarves so I don't lose them here. All right, let me move this back just a bit. All right, so this is what we're going to have. So I'm going to pull in my card base. And then my panel, I switched it up and I did green, a little more Christmassy. And then I'm going to set those aside. All right, then I have, this is the inside, and I wrote that on there because it's fairly close to, this is my envelope, I'm gonna move that over there, to the panel we're gonna be working on and cutting up. So we're gonna set the rest of this aside for now. So the panel we're gonna be cutting up is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And when I say cutting it up, hi Patty. Oh, thank you so much, that's very sweet. What we're going to do is we are going to cut here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do that. So I am going to move our cards out of the way really quick because I'm going to need some space for the trimmer. So I'm going to leave this here so you can kind of see what we're doing. So I'm going to go in 3/4 of an inch. And the great thing about our trimmers is you can go down 3/4 of an inch right here. So you can see exactly where you're at 3/4 of an inch. Now we're going to go down, and I did have this written down. Let me see if I still have it. I think it's on my papers, but okay, I don't think I wrote it down. So we're just going to go 3/4 of an inch up. So if we're at 5/8, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go to 4 3/8. So 4 3/8. Oh, that doesn't look right. Let me see. Hold on. 1, 2, no, 5/8. 4 5/8. So I'm going to write that down. So up is 4 5/8 right there. All right, so you're just going to go to 4 5/8, and then I'm going to take that out, and now I'm going to measure on this side, okay? So I'm going to go into 3/4 of an inch. I'm at 4 5/8, and now I'm going to go up to 3/4. Okay, so does that make sense? 3/4 and 3/4 here, all right? And now we're going to go over here, which you want to, what I do is I just kind of make sure my line is there, come down to 3/4. I barely slide my blade until I can feel that it's connected to where I've cut, and just kind of confirm that it is the 3/4. And then I'm going to go down here to right where that line's at, and there you go. And now you have your open spot, okay? So that's how I did that. Now we're going to look at this, and it says score it at 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to get the blade out of the way. So score it at 1/4. Well, that doesn't seem right. Hold on, let me see. I'm thinking that I wrote that wrong. Yes, that is 3/4. I knew that looked wrong. 3/4 of an inch, because that's where you started cutting, is at your 3/4. So I will change that before I post my blog. All right, so we're going to 3/4 of an inch right here. And you're going to take your score back up to where you were, right about there, and you're going to score just across the top. Okay, and now you're going to score 2 5/8. 5/8. Wait, make sure that's 2 5/8. You know, Patty, you can. I only checked a couple of squares. Hi, Mary. I looked at a couple, and I didn't have the size that I wanted, but I'm sure if I adjusted the size of the tag and a die, you could put it on and just go all the way until the end. You don't want to cut the end off. Okay, 5/8. All right, and so again, you're just doing the part you cut. So just go across right there, and then you're going to go to 4 1/8. So again, right where you cut to there. All right, so now you're going to fold this one up and this one in. Okay, makes sense? Up and in. All right. So I'm going to set this aside. Oh, we're going to go ahead and move this up and fold it too. All right. So now that's done. So we are going to go ahead and start stamping so we can kind of see where we're at, start assembling a little bit, I am going to pull in my piercing mat because I'm working with polymer today. I'm going to pull out the In the Pines stamp set. And I'm going to start with taking that off. And we're going to start with this one. These two go together, so it's a two set stamp. You've got this one and then you're coloring it in. All right, but you know what I did is I'm going to use the smaller ones because I want a lot of trees and this is such a small piece. So I'm going to start out with this piece. Find my block that I want here, and my perfect block I think is H. All right, so what I did is I took I have a lot of ink pads here. We're going to use the Mossy Meadow. Let's see, I think I want to put my old olive back up. We're going to use espresso. Thank you, Mary. All right. So first we're going to use our early espresso, and we're going to just stamp our tree, the outsides of our tree. Okay, so we're going to just get our early espresso. And now this is an important thing. When this one right here, the 3/8 by 3 1/4. This is what you're going to stamp your trees on, and you're going to probably stamp them this way to go here. Okay, so let me show you these trees right here. So what I've learned is I did 3 kind of in the middle there. I want to offset those now. I want to do a little more like 2 main ones on here so that they kind of offset. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start there. I'm going to put the edges just to the bottom here, and it doesn't have to be exact, but I'm going to move this in a little ways. Okay, and then I'm going to move this one in a little bit. All right, then I'm going to go to the outside and to the outside just a little bit. To the outside and then to the outside. I just want it up a little bit, kind of like it's on a hill. You kind of want to make a scene. All right, we're going to use that again, so we're going to put that aside. We're actually going to just go ahead and use that now while I have it out. So let me find my pieces of paper. I believe it is this one. So I'm just comparing because I cut these up the other day. This is my 3 trees. So I'm going to just do those now. And you're going to cut them out. So you want all of it up on the paper. And they don't have to be super tall or all in a row or anything like that. All right, so that's how I want to do mine. So I'm going to put this away. All right, now I'm going to pull out the greenery. All right, so what I'm going to do, actually, I think I'm going to switch this because it's a little bit of a shorter stamp. I'm going to switch it to this one here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do Old Olive with Mossy Meadow, and we're going to color in our trees. So I'm pulling this one back in. So I'm going to do the Old Olive, and then I have a dauber here that I'm just going to pick up some Mossy Meadow. And no, you're not going to see a big difference, but in person you can kind of see just some different shading. So I'm hoping not to get my head in your way. Let me move this just a little bit. Now this is the hard part, is doing this without sticking your head in the way. All right, so I'm gonna just go to my tree. Okay, I'm feeling like I'm not, all right. I kind of look at the bottom where they line up, because it's not exact, but it kind of gives you a good place to start. Okay. And so I do a quick wipe because I do have some mossy meadow on there. And just kind of dauber it up a little bit where you want a little bit of green. I'm going to do this bottom. Okay. You know, when you're doing these, you always think, you know, I could have done this part ahead of time, but that's all right. So I'm just adding a little bit of the green here and there, and on my hand, you see. So has everybody been playing with their new goodies from the new catalog? I've seen some of you posting. I love seeing what you guys are doing. All right, so we're just about done with this part. This is kind of the time-consuming part, is these little, a lot of little trees, but it really just makes the card. All right, so there's that part, and now we'll just do this real quick. These are a little more out front, so they don't need a whole lot of shade. I'm going to put a little bit on the middle one. All right. There are our trees. All right. Let me get the ink all off my hands. All right, so there's our trees, and now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the sky. And this is a really fun part. And did I do the fussy cutting yet? Of course not. Of course not. That's the fun, right? So you're going to see me do this real quick. So let's get these all cut out. And then you get to see how I did the sky. And here's the card. I'll bring one back in. This mousse, I've mentioned it before that I wanted to get it. Hi, Barbara. I wanted to get it last year and it sold out. And of course, I had taken a break from being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. But he was so stinking cute, I wanted to get him. So as soon as he was available this year, I made sure I got him. Because I was going to be really sad if I thought I was not going to get him again, and then when he came back I was so happy. Alright, I'm just cutting this out really quick, and I like to give it character, so I like to kind of just go along with some edges and add, you know, and remember this, whatever's white on here is snow. So it's even easier with cutting these trees out and leaving yourself some border because that's snow, right? So you're going to be like, oh no, I made it look like that. So it had snow. And remember, move your paper, not your scissors. It's the easier way, easier on your arm, easier on your cutting. Although you got to make sure there's not a big old clump of snow out to the side, and then at some point I just cut that because it's in my way. So that's what's nice about these trees, is you're just going to have snow. Olivia! I'm glad you stopped by. All right, I don't think my phone is turned down all the way. I hope you guys don't hear that, but I can hear an echo of me. So now it's off. All right, almost done with this part. Leaving some snow on the trees. And another way you can do this is you can always, if you have a die that's cutting out trees and you want to put snow on it, you can always die cut out another tree in white, and then you just align them up and offset them just a little bit so that the white pokes out the top, and then you have a little snow cap on your branches. So that's another way to do it. All right. I wish I would have done this part ahead of time, guys. Sorry, I didn't even really think about it. All right. All right, getting there, getting there. I just cut the bottoms at a little bit of an angle, kind of like they're sticking in snow, so that when you put them on, it just kind of looks like they're, you know, they're not cut straight across. So I just cut them at a little angle. Vay, I'm glad you made it. Don't worry, I'm just cutting out some trees here. All right, trees are done. All right, guys, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring our piece back in, and we're going to color this up in Night of Navy. We need to make our night sky. So make sure you have a paper underneath you. I actually like to have my whole pad. I don't want it to soak through into my mat, so I like to do this way. I'm going to bring in one of my brushes here for my blue, and I'm going to start off and then come on to the page. Okay, you always want to start off. Start off and come on. Now you can see that I probably had a fingerprint right there in the corner, but it's okay because this is going to go super, super dark. So just now kind of come in the middle. You can see the edges are really blue. And you're going over the trees, and that's okay. It's nighttime and your trees are dark. And now you're going to come across the middle, and now I kind of go back and forth. And then when you get here, because this is the sky part, this is snow down here to me. But when I get to this point, I just kind of lightly blend it. You don't want a harsh, harsh line of blue, right? So there's my night sky, but you can still see the trees. Let's see. Oh, Tashana, it's nice and hot here, but hopefully you can, it'll keep you around. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry for just a bit. All right, we're going to move this aside and just let this dry for a bit. And wipe the blue off my hands. Nancy, where are you in Northern California? I'm in Central. All right, now we're going to go to our mousse, or let's do our tag. We're going to move this one out of the way. I use these other ones for scraps, so don't worry, it's not going to go anywhere. All right, we're going to work on this. Okay, I'm in Clovis. All right, so now we have our tag, and I mentioned before, everybody, that the measurements will be on my blog, so don't worry about it. You'll get them. Everything will be written down for you, and there will be a PDF also. All right, so I'm going to bring my tag in, and we are going to take our small piece here, the 2 1/4, as soon as I can find it. And now I'm mixing my pieces of my, here we go, nope, that's the mousse. It would not be a video if I wouldn't lose things, right? Where is my tag piece? Okay, here's all this. That is for the mousse. Well, darn, oh, here it is. Yay. I have all these patterns over here. Okay, so 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. So you're going to put this in and make yourself a tag. It's going to be a little wide on both sides, and that's okay. You can trim the top, and that's perfect. So I'm going to cut that. And see what I mean? You're going to have this, just this little piece right here. So I'm just going to cut this off and kind of round it to go up. Make it all look all pretty. Just on that top. All right. So now I think what we'll do is we're going to pull out our sentiments. And I liked, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. So I'm going to take that one out right here. And we are going to stamp that in. I like to lay the polymer stamps down and then pick them up with the block, just so I know that they're straight. And let's do this one in the garden green. I'm going to do it in green because we're going to add, the bow's going to have red on it. So let's just do this. I'm going to test it. And I'm just going to put that right there. All right, and now I want to pull off this cute little ornament right here. So it's a little tiny, tiny ornament. And we are going to pull in our markers. So I want the ornament to be red. So I'm going to do the yellow part. It's got like a little, and the yellow hardly shows up, so I tend to do it more again on the paper, but we're going to do the, let's do the ornament green and the bow red. So I'm using our markers. Our markers are great to stamp right onto the markers. And then the bow I will make red just because it's going to be closer to the font, and I want the font's green. All right, so now we've got a huff on it. And I'm just going to kind of put it sideways right there. You can see that you can't see the yellow very much. So I'm just going to take the tiny tip in. There. Let me pull this in just a little bit. I know it's kind of far out. Okay, that helps a little bit. All right, so there's that, the tag. Now we're going to move it, attach it to our card. If you guys are new and never been here, I'd love for you to say hi. We're making this cute little fancy card here. And it does open inside. All right, so we're not going to adhere it quite yet. We're going to move that with the trees, and now let's finish our sky. So I'm going to take my embossing buddy, and I'm going to get some white embossing powder. Get my embossing ready. We're going to do our sky. Thanks, Faye. I think that the Merry Moose and the Pines are so fun together. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to go all the way down kind of where the trees are. And I'm just going to really make sure that that ink is not going to absorb all of my embossing powder. I'm going to get my Versamark out. I'll throw all these scraps away here. All right, I really like the snow from the Pines, like I said at the beginning. It's a solid looking snow, whereas the snow on the moose has little tiny circles. I don't know if you can see, but it has little tiny circles. And so I just like this snow better. So this is the snow I'm going to use right here. And I'm going to just put it on this little block. All right, with Versamark, I'm just going, you got to have it kind of just right in a light. I'm going to try and light it over here a little bit more, because you want to make sure you're not going over each other. You don't want your snow all looking the same direction. So just kind of keep turning. But I want a lot of snow. I want to definitely see it. You do want to go on the trees. You want the snow to be looking like it's coming down. Make sure you're going off the page too. So now I'm just kind of looking sideways here, making sure I have it everywhere. All right, so I'm happy with that, but you want to also bring your trees in. And I want snow on my trees also. You don't have to have a lot, but I just kind of like to make sure it's all there. All right, so now let's take this over. And I always I use my bone folder. Hi, Carol, I'm glad you made it. And I just kind of shake off the extra. And if it picks up tiny pieces, that's fine, because it's just snow. I don't want big old lines or anything. So if there's a little tiny pieces here and there still, I'm perfectly okay with that. But I don't want the big fingerprints or anything like that. Okay, so that all looks good. Let me put this away so we don't blow it all over the place. All right. Get my tool. All right, it's gonna be a little loud for just a bit while it's heating up. All right, here we go. Oh, I just laid it on the trees, but it'll be fine. And I be careful that I don't melt anything underneath me. Like I've mentioned before, I have melted my piercing mat, so I like to kind of point my stuff up and do it from behind. You're going to see all the snow start to come. I just remember the first time I saw embossing powder, and the heat tool and using it. I was so fascinated by this. And then of course my next, I don't know, million cards were all with embossing because I couldn't not do it. But that just really steps up your card. If you are a new stamper and you've never heat embossed, even the outline of something, like I could have outlined these trees in black, or with the Stamparatus you can stamp it in the brown, and then I could have re-stamped it in clear in Versamark and then did it with clear, so you would have embossed marks. So clear, I would say, is the most popular embossing pattern. But I use black a lot and gold. I use silver a lot too, actually. White, I pretty much just use during the Christmas time. Alright, so almost done. Hi, Glenda. Welcome. Alright. There we go. So now we have our sky is done, our trees are done, and see how this light blue mark is right there, and I blended it, but you're going to put this over, and because these trees are up closer, so we are going to get our dimensionals. Uh-oh, I didn't turn off my volume on my computer. Silly, silly. See what I mean now? How these trees are in the background and you can see them? So that's kind of what I was going for with that. Let me turn off my volume here on my computer. There we go. All right, so now you want to make sure your line right here, your trees are kind of above that. You don't want having any issues popping up, and you also want to make sure that your dimensionals are below. So you want them below that crease for when you pull this up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to turn this over. I'm going to find my tear and tape. And I'm just going to run it across the bottom, right here on the very bottom. All right. So right where that little crease was that you did. And now we're going to, thanks Carol, you're going to take your tag and you're going to adhere it in the middle. It's going to be slightly smaller than your sides. I want to try to get it a little closer in the middle. There you go, all the way to the bottom. And now I just kind of burnish it with my tool. And now you're going to be pulling your label up like that. So let's go ahead and put our tie on up there. So I'm using the embroidered ribbon. It just kind of looked earthy and I just liked the look of it with this. So you just need a little piece. And then I also used the Real Red braided linen trim, which I really like. So I'm going to get just a little bit longer with that. All right, so let's put our tag on, get our topper on here. I just left it like that. Take that little thread off. And what I did is I left this in the front and went around so it would come back in the front. So I just kind of looped it around, brought it to the front, and then tied a bow. So it kind of looks like a little bit of a double knot there. I think it just secures it a little bit better. But this seems to stay really well. You can also tie it a knot if you want, and you can also add a little glue dot if you want, but it tends to stay, so I wasn't too worried about it. It's not slippery or anything, but I do kind of cut this shorter. Oh, step that I forgot, and I always do, but I'm glad I remembered now before I adhere it. You want to take a circle punch. I'm using a 3/4 punch, but you could use a 1 or whatever you have, and just don't go too far. You don't want to go down here, but you do definitely want to put a hole, just a half circle there, just so your tag, when you adhere everything, your tag is going to just kind of be like that. Okay, so you want to make sure you have, people can see that it's something to pull. All right, so don't forget that part. All right, so now let's get our mousse stamped. So here is my mousse paper, and I think on the directions it just says scrap for mousse. Yeah, right here. It just says scrap for mousse, but you also want this piece, which is your stamp inside the image on your lower half, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to find my piece for my lower half, which is here somewhere again. Here we go. All right, so this one is for the lower half. So it's 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. Okay, so that's the right one for my lower half. I'll leave this here, although the directions, like I said, are going to be on the blog. All right, so we want to mousse on here. We want to mousse on here, and I'm going to do a mousse on my envelope. So we might as well do all of our stamping at one time. All right, so remember, let's do this mousse first. This is just going to be our mousse that we're going to cut out. So I need my stamp set, and I'm going to do the outline of the mousse first. Just move that over there. I hope your guys' desk look like mine, because when I craft and when my videos are over and I come back in here to clean, whew, my husband says, how do you make such a big mess? And I said, because I got to use everything. I got to use everything up. All right, I feel like I need to wipe my little mousse off. Thanks, Carol. It's such a fun card. This mousse, I'm telling you, I have been wanting him, so I've been excited to work with him. And then when I saw the pine trees, I wanted to do them together. All right, so I'm going to do my outline of my mousse right here. On the inside, I'm going to do my little mousse coming in. I want him all the way in right here. Oh, and I should have done him a little higher, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to turn him over. All right, I'm going to do him a little higher. Kind of walking in is what I want. All right, so we're going to make him higher. And then I want to put a mousse on my envelope. Right where I smudged, but that's okay. Right here. All right. Now the envelope mousse, I don't color in. I just leave it like that. Hi, Catherine from France. I'm glad you liked the card. Okay, so now we're going to bring back our mousse in. We have all of our outline mousses done. So we'll put that away and get the mousse, the solid image for the inside. And I'm using, so I used espresso on that, but I'm going to use crumb cake. For the inside. Now, when I first got the stamp, you know how it bubbles up a little bit and kind of gives you a bubbly image when it's brand new, and I had not stamped it off, but I kind of liked the look. Look how, see how it's got like little speckles on him? And it just kind of looked like he had texture to him. It may not do that now because I've had it for a little bit, but all right, so I just slowly go down. I look at his tail and his stomach. Of course, I'm going to get my head in here a bit, just to make sure it's all lined up. And there he is. Has a few little speckles. All right, and then this one, I'm going to look at his stomach and his antlers here. He's actually very easy to line up. All right, so there he is again. And I'm not going to do it on the envelope. I'm just going to leave him empty there, like not fill him in. But I am going to take his little feet. These are his little markings in the snow. And I'm just going to go ahead and use crumb cake again. And I'm just going to just kind of put him down below, just so it looks like he's going somewhere. Michelle, me too. I wanted this little guy so bad before, and I didn't get him, but I got him now. So I'm just going to, this looks like he's just come across on our envelope. All right, so there we go with that. All right, I'm going to put more snow away because you guys know I've said I will lose stuff if I don't start putting it away. And my snow is over here. All right, so now this is the bottom on the inside. So we are going, and it's a tricky way to put that on. Let's do our mousse, thank goodness. Oh yeah, Michelle, I missed out last year. I was so bummed, but I'm so glad I got it this year. All right, so of course, anything with a punch, I told you I absolutely love. So here we go. I don't want to get his tail. All right. So I'm going to show you a little secret. Right in the front here, I missed his little leg a little bit. So what I like to do is always have one of these blending tools on hand. This one, let's see. Let me find. I just grabbed one that I had here. Where's my tool? Okay, well, of course, I can't find. Here it is. I wanted to use this one. All right, so just wipe it off. And then just kind of go like this and it'll color it in, the color. So it just kind of colors that in. Whatever color you've stamped with, it's kind of a wet. Oh, this one I used on white. That's weird, it didn't come out white. But you can color it in, you just got to clean it off. There you go, now it's just wet. So just color it in and then there you go. There's your little guy. If you've missed a spot. All right, so now I'm going to do a sentiment here because we're going to show you how to attach this. And on the sentiment, I put at the top here, oops, wrong one. At the top here, we put, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And then I want to put Merry Christmas because I just like that a lot. All right. Now I think I'm going to put right here, enjoy the stillness of the season. So I'm going to put this down here. And I'm going to put that on with red, I think. We'll use red. All right. I'm just going to put it kind of close to him because we are going to be putting this behind. So I want to make sure it doesn't get caught on the sides. All right. On the inside of the card, I like to decorate the inside. So we're going to go with the moose prints again. Just because they are fun. I bet, Michelle, You know, it's funny. The other day I looked at my mail and it said I didn't have any orders coming. I didn't have any packages I was expecting, and I was like, well, that can't be possible. So what did I do? I put an order in because there was some stuff I needed anyway, and I was kind of waiting. And then I decided, oh, I can't not have packages come. My husband would just fall over if he knew I didn't have packages coming. Although he prefers no packages coming, but you know how that goes. All right, so I'm going to put another mousse on the inside. So I should have done him a while ago, but that's okay. We'll do a quick one. And I'm just going to have him walking. I'm going to have his little tush like he's leaving. And I'm thinking what I should do is I should have put this mousse kind of more over here and the same behind him, and then put him here. That way when you open him, it looks like he's walking. That'll be a future card. I have to think about that. That would be kind of funny. And then on the inside, he's walking off. All right. So if you missed how I did the mousse, that's easy. We did it in the dark. We're going to do crumb cake. Clean off my desk a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on. All right, here we go. Try not to get my head in the way. Right, Michelle? It's funny because I'll order and then I'll think, oh, I don't need that. I've got one that's kind of like that, or I already have this, 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 and this. And then I'm like, oh man, but then you see things and people are playing with it and you're like, oh, I know what I want to do with that. And then of course, got to put another order in. All right, so there's our mousse. He's going bye-bye. And I want to actually have a Merry Christmas right here. All right, and so what I did is I did the old pin trick. So I did Mary in the green. I love the markers to write on the pins. And I've already done some green and some red. All right, and I'm going to do the red. You guys, if you would subscribe and like the video, I'd love it. If you feel like you're learning something or just having a good time watching, it really does help my channel. I would appreciate it so much. And sharing would be amazing. I would really appreciate that. And of course, you guys can go to my blog, marciebestcard.com. And if you subscribe over there, that's where I'm going to be posting all the details and all the measurements and that kind of thing on my blog. Oh, right. Oh, my desk is scary. I don't even remember if I cut this down. Now I'm going to have to. Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, so we're going to start doing some assembly and start doing a few things. So we are going to move this out of the way for a bit. Let's go ahead and get our card base. And of course, all my cards are A2 usually, if it's a standard size for me, unless it's some type of a fancy fold or something. All right, we're going to bring the green in, and here is the tricky part. All right, we're going to go ahead and line this up, make sure it fits and everything's good, and it does. Looks like I got ink right here, but that's okay. All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate it. All right, so we are going to take our tape and just put it on. And I put it on over here, and I kind of make sure I put it on really well because it is a moving card. There's going to be some tugging at it. So I make sure I go really close right there. And I'm just really generous with my tear and tape because I really want to make sure that it is going to stick and not go anywhere. Carol, if I cleaned everything up, I wouldn't know where it was. I mean, I try to clean it up in between my videos and stuff because, but if you look over to the side and look on the ground, I have baskets of different projects going and that kind of thing. Okay, so you want to make sure that this still goes, and it does, so that's good. Now here is how you're, thank you, Debbie. Here is how you're going to find where your little guy is going to go. Okay, so we're going to put him in. Let me get my glue. Make sure it's all ready to go. It never fails that I need a new one right when I'm starting a video. Okay, so we're going to put this on here. Just get it centered where you want it to go. And it's really just like not even 1/8 of an inch probably around, okay? So now we're going to pull this up. And I want it straight, of course. So hopefully my head's not in the way. Sorry, I tend to pull it towards me too. I'm trying really hard not to do that anymore. All right, so you're going to put your paper on. And a little over to the side here. All right, so my top panel is about where I want it. I'm going to pull this, and my text on the inside is just a little crooked. I'm kind of weird like that. I just don't want it crooked. All right, so hold it good, and I'm good with that. So I'm going to hold this as firmly as I can, and then move that, okay? Then you're going to hold the bottom portion as best you can because it moves a little easier than you think. I'm going to not mess it up and try and do it with my nails. I'm going to get my little pokey tool here and lift it up. All right. And then I'm going to put some glue right there. Okay, so I put some glue in there, and I'm going to put the top down. Now I'm going to just make sure again really fast so while I have a little wiggle room. Make sure it's all good where I want it, and I think that's fine. And now I'm going to lift this up carefully. It could still wiggle. You don't want it to wiggle. And just put a little bit of glue because you know how good this holds. Okay? And there you go. All right. Thank you, Glenda. I think if you did everything in an assembly line, I really don't think it would be that difficult. Because if you think about it, you could just sit down and just stamp a ton of trees and then stamp a ton of mooses. But I love doing things in multiples. Usually if I make a card, I'm making at least 5 or at least 6 normally because I do evens because of the sheets of paper. It just depends on what I'm working on. All right, so because you have this sticky on the back, you want to be super careful where you're laying it. So what I do is I just have my pinky holding that bottom down. You kind of already know you're going really close to the bottom and to the edge, right? So as long as you have your bottom on there, and then go to your side and get it where you want it, and then you're going to be fine. So just carefully, just don't be in a rush to do it. And there you go. And there's my little moose. All right. Now, my moose that I cut out ran away. My moose that I cut out. Where did my moose go? Here he is, over here on my die cut. All right, I already pre-made some little ribbons, his little scarf. I have two little scarves. Here's another one. I just made a red and a green because I didn't do them going in an order like I talked about. I decided I was just going to have it a couple different mousses. So I'm going to put his little scarf on. Cold out there, he needs a scarf. All right, and now I'm glad you guys are liking the card. Thanks to Shauna. All right, so now you got to remember when you put him on, you have to put his feet up. I put him just along the bottom like he's walking. And I just put him on like that. So just so when he's up like this, he's basically standing up. Okay, and he could have gone a little higher. Let me see if I can move him. I didn't put him on too tight, did I? Careful, careful. No, I'm not going to move him. Not going to move him. He's fine where he's at. His little foot's dragging, but I'm okay with that. I don't want him to get hurt, but I do want to put my little scarf on the guy inside. Now you want to make sure the top part that you glue it down really well, because the tag will slide against it. And so just make sure that you put that on him. See, it'll go over, but you just want to make sure that you put it on him. And I'm going to trim the bottom of the scarf because he's a little bit low. So I'm going to trim his scarf a bit. There we go. All right, so there is that part. Thanks, Jana. I'm really glad you were able to hop on. Okay, so we got that part done. Let's put our inside of our little guy in here. We are almost done. So my glue is, I don't know why I think I have to get every, like I could see through this bottle and I just still think oh no, there's still some left. And then my hand hurts because I'm trying to squeeze nothing out. Thank goodness this stuff holds, right? Although I have to tell you guys, I worked with, I know you guys know I've been struggling with this. I do, Debbie. It's marciebessaker.com. And there's going to be a link at the end again too. But yes, I will be doing the instructions and the a PDF too. Okay, so on this, you guys, I learned if you hold it up, it works great. So I'm going to the places that I didn't get it, but I had such a hard time. But there was a lady, and I think her name was Bev or Beck, maybe it was Becky, but she's in the UK, I think. And I saw one of her posts, and she was talking about you hold it up and you roll, and then it doesn't get a chance to go back in. Oh my gosh, that's been a changer for me. All right, now, all right, let's be smart. Let's be smart about this, and let's just open up a glue. Let's just go for it, right? Because that is frustrating. All right. Here we go. Oops. Here we go. Now we go. Look at that. Oh. It's like putting new blades on. And it's like putting new plates. Like, why do I wait so long? I don't know. Silly. All right. Now, here we go. Okay, so there's still another step. There's actually two because I messed up on one and I didn't do it. And I'm going to show you right now. You'll see on this little guy, I put some little dirt down here and I forgot to do that here. So I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be, and I used the waterfront, but I'm going to be really careful about it because I'm not going to be able to go up under because I don't want to mess up my card. But I just took these two different pieces on the waterfall here and I just added them. Where did my block go? I just added them at the bottom just to add a little interest there. And then there's still something else we're going to do too. All right, so just kind of, I'm going to move him up and just kind of add. I am going to take this. All right, and I'm going to put this here. I don't want it to go over on the green. All right, so that's good enough. So now they've got their little dirt. Got to have something to walk on, right? All right, so on this envelope, what I did is I'm not going to do a scarf that's going to stick on there, but I did do a little red scarf just so he has it. And it does show a little see-through, but I was okay with that. He's got to have a little something. So you can move it up farther if you want. And he just has a little scarf. All right, so one more thing. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I really like it. I wish I would have remembered. See it right here on this bottom part, I added a little bit too, but that's all right. Nobody will know but us. All right, so I got my envelope. I got this. Okay, the last thing that I did is, as soon as I can find what I did with it, Wink Estella. Now you want to be really careful with your Wink Estella. Let me find my paper here. I'm going to make sure, because I just did something with red. Okay, so your Wink Estella can pick up color and you can color with it, or you can do it on your paper. So I want this to be snow. So I'm going to close this and I'm just going where the white is at. Just where the white is at. I don't want it to pick up. Remember, our ink is water-based. I don't want it to pick up the ink and mess all that up. So I'm just going to go back and forth just on the white best I can. And this part I could have done before I put him on there, but you know how that goes. We were all chatting and I forgot. So just go. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just try to put a little bit everywhere, just so if, in case that card glimmers just right, they can see the snow. All right, so I'm going to pull this up. I don't need to put any there because the words in the mousse are, I can't see the ground there. But let's take a look inside. Thank you, Barbara. So you can just kind of go around the feet print there, the little hoof prints or whatever, indentions in the snow. There, so now it just glimmers just enough. And I think I'll even do some on the envelope because I boo-booed right there, so I might as well put some fun snow on here. That way they don't look at the boo-boo. They'll just see this pretty snow. And I don't put too much, like I didn't color him in because I don't want to put too much, saturate too much ink on the flap for their, just in case there's any issues with it. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. All right, let me move all this mess out of the way. Or try. So yeah, you guys, if let me just show you really quickly here. So subscribing and sharing, you guys, is so helpful for us that have YouTubes. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but I love it. I love to share. People are always asking me if they can case my stuff. Absolutely, always. You can always case my items. I do not mind at all. When I first started stamping years and years and years ago, and I still do, I go on YouTube, I go on Pinterest, I look around for different ideas. I love it. It's so much fun to see everybody's creativity, and I may pick up different ideas here and there for different things. And colors from one place, a technique from somewhere else, an idea for somewhere else. And yes, I've done a lot of these before, but sometimes it's like, oh man, I haven't done that in a long time, so I'll, try to do something else. Oh, I got red on my envelope now. Oh well. So, yeah, just a fun idea and sharing, and I love it. And then I'm asked when am I live? I'm live on 2 o'clock on Tuesdays and noon on Sundays. So if you watch the rest of my channel, there's a lot of videos I've been doing. I have been trying to faithfully do 2 a week. Once in a while, I'm able to put another one in there. So if you subscribe and then if you hit the bell, you will get notified of when I'm live or when I've posted. If you go to my Facebook page, I do go there too. Oh, nice, Bay. Thank you, Glenda. If you go to my Facebook, it's Marcie Bessaker Designs. I usually try to post there and say, hey, I'm going to go live, at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. And I always put Pacific time. I am in California. And so I try to put that down there just so you know. I would love to be your demonstrator. If you are looking for a demonstrator and you would like me to help you out, I would love it. My blog, marciebessaker.com. You guys can always subscribe and get inspiration there. But there's also a shop button on the right-hand side. It says shop my online store. Right below it is the August code. It's always going to be the current code right below the shopping button. Below that, you'll find the current catalogs and the holiday catalog also, so you can go and browse through that if you'd like. Here is the template. Let me remove this. And it will be on my blog. So if you go, there's my blog there, marciebessaker.com. It will have the measurements. There will be a PDF for you. I will be doing that after this video. So a little bit later tonight, it will be up. So I usually post on my Facebook page. I'll usually post and say, a link so you'll know it's on my blog. And you can just click from there and go take a look at it and print the PDF and all that good stuff. So I really appreciate you guys joining me. As always, if there is something in the catalog you are interested in seeing, just let me know. If I have it, I will try to create something for you. I know sometimes once you see a set used, then you're like, ooh, okay. Thank you so much, Debbie. I really appreciate that. So yeah, if there's something that you've seen in the catalog, holiday or regular, and you're like, oh, I wonder what this is like or what, let me know, and I'd be happy to create with that for you so you can check it out. And if there's any other questions, let me know. Tashana, you are so welcome. I'm so glad you guys joined me. This was such a fun card. And like I said, now you have it inside. I know that light up there is just too much, I think. And then our fun little card. And of course, who doesn't love a punch, right? If it has a punch, sign me up, right? All right, guys, thank you. I will see you on Sunday. Sunday, I will be here. I don't know what I'm creating yet. If you have an idea and you want me to show you a set that you are looking at, or you just haven't used yet, let me know. Oh, good, Carol. I hope you do. It's really not that difficult. It's just there's a lot of steps, and I have a lot of people in my class that are beginners, and they a lot of times are like, oh no, that's too hard, and then after they're like, oh, that wasn't so hard. Things look intimidating, and they're not. And a lot of people are like, you need to simplify your cards, and I do some simple ones. I'm in Clovis, which is right by Fresno. Nice hot in the middle of the valley. I hope you're nearby, Debbie. I was thinking of maybe doing like a craft event in California when all this is over and have like a full craft, like scrapbook day, but a craft card making day. It would be a lot of fun. I have a location. I just have to we have to get through all this first and then we'll do it. Oh, nice. Huntington. Oh, San Diego's beautiful, Tashana. Carol, where did you live, Carol? All these California people. All right, you guys. Well, thank you again so much for joining me. Please subscribe. And if you'd like the video, if you could like it and ring the bell to get notified of when I am on, I would greatly appreciate it. And subscribe to my blog. You will get tomorrow morning, because I will post this on my blog tonight, so you can go look at it. But in the morning tomorrow, you will get an email if you've subscribed and telling you that I did, Michelle, telling you that all the blog, that it's on the blog with all this video will be on there. A PDF will be on there usually. I started doing PDFs, or at least you'll get a PDF of the measurements. But I think I did a whole PDF basically summarizing the blog, so you'll see. But if you subscribe, you'll get notifications just in case you miss it, and you'll get more detail in the blog. Michelle, yes, look at, I believe I did it on Sunday. And it was, somebody requested it, and so I did it on Sunday. So go take a look at that. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you on Sunday. You guys have a great rest of your week.